Welcome to the Cardinal Squad Show. My name is Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show, and a credentialed Arizona sports media member. Maybe Drew Petzing isn't the problem after all. Let's talk about it.
I'm Jamil Douglas, former NFL offensive lineman. Cardinals come up short. Jacoby Brissett looks like he could be the answer at quarterback, though.
I was Clancy, Locked on Cardinals. A loss is a loss is a loss, but everybody most likely will keep their jobs after that performance. Let's get it.
Rise up, Red Sea, it's the Cardinals Squad. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What is up? Welcome back into the Cardinals Squad Show. My name is Benjamin Garcia, host of this show, and we're going to get right into it today with the Arizona Cardinals falling to the Indianapolis Colts by a score of 31-27. Drew Petzing might not be the problem. Is there a quarterback controversy? The defense, listen, looked good in spots, but we'll talk about them as well. But let's get our instant reactions to a game that I think everyone on this panel kind of called. Yeah, Clancy said that they would win this game, but there was a lot of the bone structure for what everyone thought was going to be there. We all said it would be a close game. We all thought they'd throw everything in the kitchen sink at this team, but eventually the team that was probably a little bit more healthier found out a way to win. Let's get our instant reactions to it, and let's go to Clancy first, who just got done doing 15 minutes on it.
I mean, this is the most competent this offense has looked all year. I think that's pretty obvious. Second, put it this way, if this offense is the offense that we saw up until this point, they'd be 4-2 at worst with this loss. Like, they didn't take any series off. They looked competent. They looked functional. They were throwing the ball down the field. Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch were getting involved. Greg Dortch had a touchdown. Trey McBride scored as well. Michael Carter looked better because the pass game looked better. I mean, the only thing is, anything, I call it the Nate McMillan effect. Anytime a head coach gets fired, you bring in an assistant coach, and there's that boost. There's that juice from the new team where it's like, oh, this is new. Let's play harder, all that stuff. And then it wanes eventually. I don't know if that's what it is with Jacoby Brissett, but they look better than they'd looked all year offensively, which is crazy.
Yeah, I agree. The offense looked serviceable. I mean, better than serviceable. I think Jacoby Brissett is a better thrower of the ball than what Kyler Murray has shown us. And we heard a bunch of different guys' names. I mean, the guys that we were excited about in training camp. And, you know, I know I always talk about Zay Jones, but we saw Zay Jones have a couple showings. Like you said, Michael Wilson, everyone, even Marv before he got hurt was, you know, being targeted. So it just looked better and it looked functional. And I agree with Clancy. If this is the offense that we have had the chance to see up until this point, we're talking about a whole different situation, you know, as in terms of what the Cardinals' record should be. So the biggest takeaway from me, though, was I don't think that we can blame the offensive coordinator and Drew Petzing. Like, I just feel like it wasn't much different. I think the ball was just being spread around and delivered differently. So I don't know. I just feel like the offense looked much better with Jacoby back there.
Yeah, regardless of the Arizona Cardinals winning this game or not, I think this definitely changes now that they're 2-4. They got the Packers next week. Probably don't feel great about that. Maybe looking at 2-5 going into the bye week. I think this changes like what this season looks like. Now we just need to find the problem, pinpoint it out, and say you're it, and then move on from that thing, and then try to figure out what it looks like next year with somebody else. I agree with Clancy's point. I'm not super surprised that Jacoby Brissett looked good. I am super surprised that he threw for 320 yards, which I think is the only third time in the Petzing era, which tells me, maybe we should have been throwing Kyler Murray under the bus a little bit more than Drew Petzing was. But we have a legitimate quarterback controversy, and I think we need to figure out if this was a mirage or not. 1 week, the opposing team probably feels good about going up against a backup quarterback. He kind of catches them off guard a little bit. Jacoby Brissett is very serviceable. Jacoby has to start next week, and you got to figure out if this is like a real thing. This is what the offense is supposed to look like. Maybe not this great, but better than what it's looked in previous weeks. That's the way I go with it.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I don't see a situation. Go ahead. Sorry. I thought
Jonathan Gannon just said in the presser that Kyler Murray's a starting quarterback when healthy. So this is going to come to a time, and I'm going to word this incorrectly, but I hope I get home. Real football turns into fantasy football midseason also. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to start your first round pick. If somebody's better, somebody's beating them out in reps, whatever it is, that player is going to start. And whether it's injury or otherwise, did you think that, it was going to be Jacoby Brissett to Zay Jones 5 times today in week 6? It doesn't matter. I think it's a huge mistake for Jonathan Gannon to say that when you saw what happened today, and then we'll see a lot in Green Bay. Micah Parsons is going to be in the backfield. So Jacoby Brissett could 100% go 13 for 30, and we're walking this back. But from the evidence that we have right now, that was the best offense we've seen all year. And it's not close.
Well, forget that. Isn't that the best offense we've seen since the Miami Dolphins game last year, where Kyler threw for 300 yards?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, you could say that. I think it's silly of him to say that Kyler Murray is going to be the starter when he's healthy. I said this on our show earlier this week that I think you're at that point where Jacoby goes out and plays well in this game, even with the loss. You're kind of sitting there and you say, all right, well, he gave us a best chance to win given the circumstances. Let's roll with this guy. Kyler, get as healthy as you can. And if Jacoby continues to play well, we're going to play him up until he shows us why he's our number 2 quarterback, which I don't think he will because he's such an experienced guy. But I think you have to go with Jacoby. And you don't want the media to make the noise of, oh, you're benching Kyler Murray. But, hey, listen, jobs are on the line at this point, and the man played very, very well considering the team that they were up against in Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm. Jamil, if that just happened to you, your starting quarterback, let's say Ryan Tannehill goes out. Ryan Tannehill goes down in the middle of the Titans season. He hasn't been playing very well, which isn't the case with you. I think it was Marcus Mariota, his backup. He comes in, plays superbly well while your season was kind of spiraling down the drain. What are the players thinking?
You go with the hot hand. You go with the hot hand. And that's clear. That's clear to the coach. I'll tell you this, because I had the experience. We were playing Denver when I was with the Titans. Marcus Mariota was starting. We were having a terrible game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Terrible game. It was a week after we had played Jacksonville, gave up 8 sacks. Vrabel came over to the bench and he said, I'm making a switch. We're going with Tannehill. And everyone's looking at him like, why? You have to go with the hot hand, or you have to make those decisions as a head coach, regardless of, oh, this is our draft pick. This is the guy that we paid. Who cares? At some point, winning has to take precedence over all of that. So I believe that you go with Jacoby as long as Jacoby is producing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Luckily for that, luckily the bye week's in week 8. If the bye week was week 12, maybe Kyler would be on IR right now. I feel like they may be playing it a little coy to that, where it's okay, you get that extra week in week 8 to maybe, where he comes back and they have their onslaught in the second half of the season. But here's the thing. This isn't about pride or about who's getting paid or whatever it is. This is about them not starting 2-9, where you're looking at a top 10 pick and you're looking at how much can you get for Kyler Murray, and it's no longer a first-round pick. That's something that is staring them directly in the face if they don't figure this out right away. So Jamil's right. Just who cares? You got to be able to evolve. You've got to be able to adapt. And Jonathan Gannon saying that is stupid right now. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's a dumb thing that pigeonholes it. It pigeonholes everybody with what Jacoby just did.
Yeah.
We can dive deeper into the quarterback controversy just in that next segment, but I want to get everyone's kind of thoughts on it really quickly. That final play of the drive, it's officiating. I'm just curious. There are people talking about it in the chat, so I know it's going to come up. I've already seen it in the comment sections. Good call at the end of the game to not call holding, or do you guys think Trey McBride in that spot, it maybe if they're at home, they get that call?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the ball looked high to me. Yeah. I don't know if he catches it, so it's like one of those things where does the hold affect the outcome of the play? We don't know. Maybe he stretches out and catches that, but I just felt like a lot of times they're going to let you play in those situations. And, those are the times where you wish you get the call, but I don't think it affected the actual play.
That's right. I mean, he stumbled. So if he was just running a route in practice and that's where the ball was, he would have still had to reach his arms up. And also, Cardinals ain't getting that call in the history of the organization. Okay, so that's not something that's like, oh, they usually get that, or that's Larry Fitzgerald out there. Like, it's just not something that happens. And it's not something – the Cardinals already won the day before that fourth down throw with offense. If they would have walked it off, I don't know if my brain would have been able to handle that.
Okay, obviously I agree with you guys. I think even blaming the flag, like blaming the lack of their whatever, like they had 4 attempts to get it, whatever. So let's shift it towards why did the Cardinals lose then? What would you say? Instant reaction. They lost because this happened. I would probably go towards if Arizona defensive backs could catch, maybe the Cardinals win this game by 10 points. But it looked like Daniel Jones looked a little erratic at times and then kind of got settled down, Clancy.
I mean, the defense gave up 14 points like warm knife through butter the first drive of the game and the last drive of the game. That's the difference. They played really well in the middle, but they just methodically marched the hell out. And then the face mask call was a killer on Zaven Collins. When looking back at it, he grabbed his face mask. So, that's 15 yards. That would have been a tackle for loss, and that would have been the Cardinals would have had leverage there. But giving those 15 yards and Jonathan Taylor just being a man, it's just there was no chance. The Josh Downs killed him today too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was. Yeah, you could say Buddha should have had a pick. I personally felt like the DBs played well. I don't like the catches and the ball that Daniel Jones was throwing. Like there were some tight windows. It wasn't like he's just finding wide open guys. Like they're either trailing or they're right on them. I just feel like it's exactly what I've said. Kind of you hope that when the offense catches on, that the defense is able to continue to get the stops that they've gotten earlier in the year. And today was one of those days where the defense wasn't able to get those stops towards the end of the game, even though the offense was, putting up points. So, eventually they'll catch up and play complementary ball. But I think that's exactly what it is. It was just a situation that the defense wasn't able to get those stops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way with the defensive side. I thought they had timely stops. I thought ultimately, though, whenever the Colts, like this has kind of been I know the Cardinals defense is really good and I know it's elite and on paper, like, yes, but like, I don't think statistics say everything when you watch every game. Like I know you guys have as well. Every time the Arizona Cardinals defense has needed a stop outside of that last drive in the Panthers game, like they can't get it. The 49ers game, they needed a stop, couldn't get it. They needed it in the Seahawks game.
They had a fourth down
in that final drive.
At the goal line against the 49ers to keep that game close. There was first and goal from the 5, and they stopped them 4 times.
Yeah, they still lost in a game-winning kick. That's my point, is every time they need a stop, they need it. It feels like the defense either gets conservative or plays soft zone coverages, and we saw that last week with the Titans. We saw it with the Seahawks, the 49ers. Like, this is it too. Like, my point is the defense is not to blame for anything this season. It just feels like in this era of the NFL, like you got to put all your eggs into the offensive side of the basket because you could have as elite in a defense as you want with the Arizona Cardinals, and they have the best defense points wise in the NFC. Like it just goes to show you, like this is not where this era of football is going towards. Am I crazy there to say that?
No, I don't think you're crazy, but I do think that the game changed. The game-changing situation was when the Cardinals got the pick, and then 2 plays later, I think Jacoby throws a pick. That was the moment in which you steal a possession and you go up and you really put pressure on the Colts early on in the game. I know there was pressure on them late in the game, but there's so much game left at that time. I feel like that's when the game changed. Like if they had went and got a field goal or a touchdown out of that, I think we're talking about a whole different game. But to give them a pick and then they go straight down the field and score a touchdown, it changed the game in a big way.
Yeah, no, that's right. And that was another one where he got bumped. Zay Jones got bumped to the top of his route, and they just don't have any. I mean, I don't think that Jacoby Brissett's ever thrown Zay Jones a football in an NFL game before, and that's just kind of what it was. But by and large, Jacoby, I mean, he threw the ball 45 times. It's like obviously you can do that with him and not with Kyler, which is just crazy talk. They became a pass-first offense today without Marvin Harris Jr. It almost worked.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get into that Cardinals quarterback controversy. I won't get ahead of myself. Let's do that. Kyler versus Jacoby, as well as, okay, or where are you kind of at now? Is Drew Petzing the culprit, or is it someone else? So let's do that next. First, today's show is brought to you by our friends by Mitson and Maine. You know the saying, look good, feel good. The problem is that most dress clothes only check one of those boxes. They look sharp, but feel stiff, hot, and high maintenance. That's why there's Mitson and Maine. Mitson and Maine makes classic menswear with performance fabrics, so it's effortless to look sharp and feel comfortable. They actually invented the performance fabric dress shirt over 10 years ago, and they perfected it ever since. When it comes to myself, man, when I'm dressing, I hate dressing up. I hate wearing dress clothes. I hate wearing jeans. I am a basketball shorts and t-shirt kind of guy through and through. So when you tell me there's a thing like Mitson and Maine that can allow me to look nice, but have the feel of athletic wear, like I'm all in. So right now, Mitson and Maine is offering our listeners 20% off your first purchase at mitsonandmaine.com. with promo code LOCKEDONNFL20. That's Mitson, spelled Mizzen, and Maine, MAIN.com. Promo code LOCKEDONNFL20 for 20% off. And if you'd rather shop in person, you can find Mitson and Maine stores in selected states, as well as this show is brought to you by our friends over at Supply House, as I throw them up on the board. When the opposing whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting on projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Listen, in the middle of buying a house, there's a couple of things like you negotiate, you want the previous homeowner to fix, they're not really interested in doing it, so it's going to be up to me. So listen, I need some parts fast for a project. Supply House has next day delivery. That's a game changer for someone like myself who's just trying to make the fixing stuff around the house a little quicker. So join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower price, and dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHNFL5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. All right, keeping the show rolling. Let's start with this quarterback controversy. Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray, which you just kind of talked about a second ago. And I don't think you can kind of dive deep into that unless we talk about the offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing. His offense, like Jamil, you kind of mentioned it, so I'll let you take it from here. I thought the Arizona Cardinals would kind of throw everything in the kitchen sink at the Indianapolis Colts. It did felt like they did that today. They weren't afraid, or at least Jacoby Brissett wasn't afraid to throw this ball deep downfield, but I was kind of waiting for the deep, exotic, different looks offensively, and I don't think it ever came. What was your kind of take on the offense as itself being called by Drew Petzing, and how different it looked between him and Jacoby Brissett today?
I think Jacoby is better at going through his progression. You saw the ball going to a ton of different guys. To me, that tells me that pre-snap, Jacoby digests defenses better than what Kyler does before the ball is snapped. So he's able to know, okay, this is the coverage. I know if we're running this concept, it doesn't work versus this coverage. So I'll go to my second or third option. There was nothing different in terms of, like, I don't think that they give Jacoby a different route tree that his receivers are running. Like, they don't change the whole playbook up. He's just truly calling the offense, and Jacoby's just better at digesting what's actually happening. So I think he gives him a better chance as far as being able to stand in the pocket, being able to deliver a ball and take a hit across the chest, those hits across the chest for Kyler are in his face. Like Jacoby is a bigger body. He's able to get his arm angle over the defender in terms of if there is pressure. And so to me, I think that it's a no-brainer in my eyes. Like I don't know what we're kind of going back and forth on. Like, you got to start this guy, man, because of today. The Colts are not a bad team. The Colts are actually, it showed me how good the Colts actually are within this game, because they were able to keep clawing back and putting points on the board. To see Jacoby and the Cardinals and this offense just go toe-to-toe with this defense, to me, is a no-brainer in terms of who I'm going with moving forward.
Yeah, and there is one name that was there that hasn't been there that is excellent at both pass blocking and run blocking at right guard, and that's Will Hernandez, who's fully healthy. It's like we talked about this 2 months ago. What a shocker. Isaiah Adams wasn't it. And Will Hernandez got beat once. He had one bad penalty early on. The dude's still getting his sea legs back, But it's going to make Jonah Williams' job easier when you have a right guard who can, like Jamil. Okay. Say you are the avatar of, like, in Madden rating, whatever, like a 72 right guard. And you're playing directly to the right of a 65 right guard, and then an 80 right guard comes in and replaces him. How much does that make your job easier as a right tackle, where you can really only focus on the edge and not your left side when you've got that handled?
Oh, it definitely elevates your play. And it makes things easier in terms of, like, there's a reason why that guy is an 80 overall, if we want to call it that, like in my experience of playing next to a Taylor Lewan versus, and this is not a knock on Dennis Kelly, but we know Taylor Lewan at one point was one of the best tackles in the league. And, he elevated my play when I played next to him, just in terms of being able to help out in different situations because he's so talented. So, I agree with you 100% on that.
So when you look at it, it's like, okay, so it's kind of a perfect storm against Kyler Murray. All of these things, just a perfect storm. But what Jamil said is, like, and this is why I talk about fantasy football. It's like, I don't care who gets paid. I don't care who gets paid what. Put the player who's going to give the Cardinals the best chance to win to call down said hike during games. So that's it. The only thing is, this just that fresh new car smell? Like, that's the only thing. And we'll see in Green Bay. We'll see if there's a, quote unquote sophomore slump against one of the best defenses in the NFL at home, where the Cardinals are legitimately playing for their season in week 7. But so far, so good, man.
I think they're going to be more. I think they're going to be competitive versus Green Bay. Like, Jacoby's. Listen, I'm talking from an offense. Like, they're not going to come out and just lay down. Jacoby is not one of these guys that hasn't been battle tested. Like, we saw him in his first game of his career coming in on a Thursday night, I believe, when Jimmy Garoppolo or someone got in, and we saw him play his ass off in that game. And that's been, like, that is what he's respected for around the league. This guy comes from the New England Patriot tree, where he sat in the room behind Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, and he was coached by Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniel. Like, this guy is not someone that you can take lightly. Like, everyone knows that he can beat you. He's a smart guy, and like I said, he's tough as nails. Like, he's gonna stand in the pocket and deliver it, whether someone's beaming down at his face or not. So I think they're gonna be competitive. I don't know if they'll win the game, but I think if you're the Packers and you're looking at that film, you're like, okay, we actually have to take this serious,
This combined with the Kyler Murray injury, we were in a group chat, and I think Clancy tweeted this out. I know I did too, that this might sign, seal, and deliver Kyler Murray's time in Arizona. Jacoby Brissett playing as well as he did. Let's cut the BS. Like, the Kyler Murray era, it feels over in Arizona, right? Like, this is it.
I think we'll see next week.
What does that look like next week, Clancy?
If they replicate this, then twice, like one time, like, this isn't okay. I've got some effects that I call it. I call it the Matt Flynn effect. He had one game where he threw 6 touchdown passes in Green Bay when the game didn't matter at the end of the year. I think it was 17 weeks then. And then he parlayed that into like $30 million between the Raiders and the Seahawks. And he got Wally pipped by Russell Wilson before he could play it down. Like, let's chill with it. See next week, but it's getting closer to a yes than a no, even though head coach Jonathan Gannon seems to think otherwise. Right? I mean, is that fair? Yeah. I mean, we gotta wait and see it again.
I think he's saying that. I think he's saying that to get everyone off of his tail. In terms 100%. Of like, it's glaring. And
the game just ended.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
anyone who watched that game would say Jacoby needs to be the starter moving forward. So if I'm looking at it from a logical mind, I think yes, I do think Kyler Murray's time as a Cardinal is bleak. I don't know if it's coming to an end, but yeah, it looks that way.
Today was the first time I've already kind of started really over the last couple of weeks releasing I don't know if Kyler Murray's ever going to work in Arizona. And I blamed a lot of that on the Cardinals' incompetency. Like, I didn't think the Cardinals were a stable enough organization to take what Kyler Murray does well and make it, blossom into multiple playoff appearances. Just like how the Jaguars, like, they can't get anything right. They drafted Travis Hunter, and you're like, why would you do that? Like, you can't get the other things you do right. And of course, they're good this year. But this was the first game that I kind of think Kyler Murray might not be an NFL quarterback. He has all the talent in the world, but I think size obviously does matter in the NFL. And the biggest glaring thing today was, one, I've never seen so many balls thrown over the middle, precisely, accurate, and with timing. And then the other thing was, I won't back off from this. Kyler Murray plays like a scared football player on the field. The dude is scared to get hurt. Like, he is scared to get hit. He's scared to get hurt. So, like, Jacoby Brissett got rocked multiple times today, to the point where in the beginning of the game, I was like, God, is the offensive line just terrible? The dude stands in the pocket. He hangs in. He's not afraid to get hit. He had guys in his face multiple times. And I just don't think for the first time ever, I am on the track of believing, I don't know if Kyler Murray has the stature to be a 17-game consistent player in the NFL. He'll have moments, he'll have spurts.
Well, okay.
But I don't know.
Okay. So Jacoby Brissett's got that old man strength.
Absolutely.
Like, he's got a first play of the game, or first pass play of the game, or second, whatever. They picked up Michael Carter. Michael Carter had to pick up a bull rusher on third down on Jacoby's left side. He got lit up. Like, it's just like, that's just bad. You're gonna punish Amari DiMercato by getting Jacoby Brissett hurt because he dropped the ball. You don't have your third down back in there. They luckily shifted away from that, but like,
yeah.
The problem with Kyler Murray is that we've seen the peaks, and they're really, really pretty. Like, we've seen them, and you don't see them from bad quarterbacks. You don't see that. So does he go somewhere else? And like, do you take him? Does he go to Cleveland or go somewhere with an offense that's boring and gross and he can just run it? Like
Minnesota.
Yeah, dude, if he goes with the reclamation project, the quarterback reclamation project.
Telling you. Listen, no, I think
they don't all get fixed. This is a new thing.
No, they don't. But Kyler Murray has a good starting foundation for Kevin O'Connell or a coach like that. Like I said, I think arm angle is everything. And when you don't have an offensive line that is just delivering a clean pocket every play, or a running back that is just stoning guys at the line of scrimmage, having a bigger body and a guy that can take a hit across the chest but still get his arm over a defender is everything. Because now those plays that normally turn into sacks or TFLs, the ball is getting out. We saw Jacoby scrambling, and he just barely got the ball out to someone on the right sideline. I can't remember who it was, but like, those are plays where, like, if you're not 6'3", you're not able to do that, given your body style. So I think arm angle is everything with quarterbacks, and that's why majority of the time we see taller quarterbacks being taken, and guys that are 6 foot or whatever the case may be.
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the team of complete overcorrection from BA to Steve Wilkes, then to Cliff Kingsbury, now to Jonathan Gannon. They're going to draft a 7-foot quarterback, and nobody's going to be under 6'2" who's ever quarterback for this team again. Like, this is the overcorrection is like, I think he gets shorter every year. Like, I don't remember him being this short. I think this is a Benjamin Button situation. Like, I don't know. Like, he looks smaller every year. I don't know why. Maybe he's dropped weight. He used to be super stocky. Maybe he's not as much anymore. He looks smaller every year. And I don't understand. I know scientifically speaking, that isn't correct. Okay. And he looks smaller every year. So, I don't know. I mean, I never was the guy because I thought he could always roll out and make do because he's always been small, but the NFL's caught up, especially with the batted balls and stuff like that.
Let's continue this conversation. We'll get to some defensive stuff as well in the next segment, but let's talk about Drew Petzing. Let's talk about what he needs to do over the next couple of games to potentially keep his job and solidify this job. And again, if all of this is maybe just a mirage, what if it all comes crashing back down to earth next week? And we'll talk about that next. Today's show brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. This episode is brought to you by Mazda, moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. Listen, if we're talking about what the main, the biggest play of this game that kind of just changed the direction of everything, I think you're talking about that last play where you're trying to throw it to Trey McBride in the back of the end zone. And right there, I think you pick your spots as a defender to maybe be a little bit more hands-on, hands-off. The officials don't want to be forced to make a call, so they maybe let you play a little bit more. Number 38, former Arizona, I believe he's from Arizona guy, wraps Trey McBride around a little bit. Trey McBride, no call. Colts end up winning that game. And so when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like that play right there, there's more to every highlight, and there's more to Mazda vehicles. Mazda, move and be moved. Let's keep it going really quickly with this conversation with Drew Petzing and the Arizona Cardinals quarterback situation, which is by far the biggest talking point of today's game. And I don't want to bury the lead at all. The Drew Petzing side is interesting, but what if Jacoby Brissett lays an egg? What if Jacoby Brissett is not good next week and we're right back to square one? Are we still blaming Drew Petzing, or are we going back to Kyler? Are we going back to Kyler still the guy?
Yeah, let's see if the aliens show up. We have no idea what's going to happen next week.
We
can only take what happened this week.
The aliens keep showing up. All right.
Here's the thing. That's not true. Okay, what if the stadium lights on fire and then the Cardinals can only play 6 players? What are we doing here? With Jacoby Brissett, if it doesn't, they're going to be in the stands. I don't think that that's going to be the case. This looked competent, like the offense was supposed to look. There didn't need to be exotic stuff down the field because the down the field stuff just worked. You didn't have to do anything different. And this looks very natural. Being in an offense, he knew Drew Petzing from his time in Cleveland. This is uniformity and guys being on the same page together. So I don't know. It seems like we're chasing points in fantasy football, trying to start the right person from what happened the week before. But I don't see this looking as incompetent as what we've seen 70% of the Cardinals offense with Kyler Murray look like. Because it's been bad. Yeah. For the majority of the season, it's been bad.
Jamil, do you want to add anything to that?
I mean, I feel like we're chasing ghosts with it as well. If they don't Jacoby's playing with house money at this point.
Yeah.
It's hey, if he goes out and plays well, we love him again. But if he goes out and plays bad, it's all right, now we're thinking, would Kyler Murray have done the same thing? There's nothing to really gauge. What are we expecting him to walk in there against the Packers and win the game? And if he doesn't, then we're saying fire Drew Petzing. All I can go off of is what today looked like, and it looked like he has a better feel for pushing the ball down the field, and it looks like the guys are playing hard for him. It didn't look like the guys were our number 2 quarterback is in. This is a wash. Trey McBride still looked like Trey McBride. The offensive line was moving some guys around. The receivers are going up and making tough catches for him. So those are little things that I pay attention to. Like, the 50-50 balls, are the guys going up and fighting for him because they believe in the guy that's throwing the ball? And to me, I could say, yes, they did. So, like, if I'm a coach, I'm looking at it from that standpoint. Did these guys play hard for the guy who was back there throwing the ball? If they did, I'm going with him 100% out of 100 times. Like, it's a no-brainer in my eyes. I don't think we're talking about Drew Petzing next week. I think we're saying, are we taking another step in the right direction with Jacoby?
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And also, Marv was out for the majority of this game. And
3 quarters.
He had 2 good catches. Like, this was without Marv, and they were able to do it. So, Jamil, is it easier to block for somebody? Well, and also, remember when I said, and you rolled your eyes because you had PTSD on it? This team is a much better pass blocking team than run blocking team. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And we saw that today, especially with Will Hernandez, with Miko back, like, it's better. And they were able to throw the ball 45 times. Jacoby Brissett was able to get the ball out the majority of the time unscathed. Is it easier to block for a guy who just stands in the pocket, or a guy who's a little bit more unpredictable, which could yield more holding calls and things like that if he's rummaging around behind the line of scrimmage outside of the pocket?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easier to block for a guy that stands in the pocket because where he's going to be as a tackle. Like, I watched him on the play before the last play. He took a deeper drop than what he normally takes. That is something that, like, an experienced quarterback does that, because you're going to drop back now to 9 yards, and then you're going to move up in the pocket to give your tackles the ability to push their guys around the edge of the pocket. Like Jacoby has very good pocket presence in a sense. Like, he's not going to sit back there at 9. He's going to climb up in the pocket because he can see over the O-line. He can deliver a strike, and he's not going to just exit out the back of the pocket and run towards where somebody may be. The only time that he's going to scramble, and this is kind of a scouting report, but you could see it, like, he's going to scoot up in the pocket and then he'll scramble based off of that. Like, he's never just going to run backwards and try to make people miss because he knows he doesn't have that speed. So I would say, man, just from a pocket presence thing, I want a quarterback that's going to stand in there, deliver the ball in a timing route, and I'm not going to have to worry about, if I'm blocking my guy out, this guy could be running out that way, So I would take Jacoby in that situation, or a quarterback that plays like Jacoby.
And Matthew Minkler, Ben, I don't know if you can pull this up. It's about 7 or 8 comments up. He put something in the chat that's interesting that needs to be mentioned. Jacoby Brissett didn't play like a Hall of Famer today, okay? That shows how bad the offense was with Kyler Murray, comparatively speaking. It's like 10 up, dude. Matthew Minkler. It's funny to,
try it over here.
The red zone. If Kyler we just got to pay. If Kyler threw the same pick and we lost the exact same way, it would be on Kyler. Yeah, here's the thing. With the offense the way it was this year, there's no way they'd be within 2 scores if that was Kyler Murray playing quarterback today. That's the differentiator. And this isn't, again, this is a honeymoon phase. It's new, it's fresh, it's exciting, it's different, and it could come crashing to a screeching halt next week. But today, 60 minutes of football, this offense looked more competent from start to finish than we've seen by far any time this year.
Yeah, and I'll say this about that comment. Just like I said, look at the competitive nature of what the team looked like today. I'm not saying that Jacoby played his best game ever, but from a timing and production standpoint, this team looked different. There wasn't just air throws. There wasn't, guys running routes that had no purpose to it. You got to look at the small things of guys going up and fighting, and just the intensity that they played with. Like, you rally around guys like that. So I'm not saying he played the best game ever, but the team obviously felt inspired by his play, and they continued to play hard for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jamil. If players continue to not play hard for Kyler Murray, isn't it demoralizing for the locker room to continuously play the guy that isn't as good as Jacoby?
I mean,
Like,
yeah,
how does the
is.
locker, like, let's say next week, Kyler Murray limited practice all week, but he's 75% of himself, and they start Kyler over what the hell, Jacoby Brissett. How does the locker room take that? Like, aren't you forced to start him next week, regardless?
Like I don't see why you would not. Again, I'm telling Kyler, hey, get your foot right. You know, like we're not rushing you to come back at this point. After this game, I'm telling him we're not rushing you. And he may take that the wrong way, and that may sound bad, but there is no immediate emergency button right now because we just put up 27 points and we just played a Colts team that, you know, has been very good over the first couple or 6 weeks of the season. So I feel like, you know, if they say, hey, Kyler Murray's starting next week, like guys are professional, they're going to go play. But like, does that give you the best chance to win? If we're speaking candidly, does it give you the best chance to win versus a defense like the Packers? I'm going to have to go with the guy that just put up 27 with my guys on the road in Indianapolis. So
with a lot of guys injured.
Yeah.
A lot of guys injured.
Yeah, I would start Jacoby in that situation. And he did it without, you know, I know we're still waiting for the big game from Marvin Harrison Jr., which he's been showing, you know, spotlights, but he wasn't in the game majority of the game. Like he did that spreading the ball around to guys that were running the right routes and trusting the timing and trusting his reads. So for that, like you can't coach those type of things.
Yeah. I mean, with the amount of injuries they've had, like, and they showed the overlay, the still of it, they got 10 dudes hurt that are starters.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an excuse. Like, I'm never one forever. It's never been blame injuries or blame refs ever. It's just the fact that they competed the way that they did today, and the fact that they were so close. This isn't a green ribbon thing. This is these guys competed because, like, look at the 49ers. All of their players are hurt, and they beat the Rams on Thursday Night Football this past week. So it's like there are no excuses in this league. Cardinals got close. Wasn't enough. They had the chance to win. They didn't, but this is much more redeeming than the Seattle loss, than the Tennessee loss, than the 49ers loss. Like, you actually think positively after this loss, crazily.
Look, and that's a good point. Like, we're talking about the Niners and them beating the Rams, right? I think this is a whole different situation. Like, okay, Mac Jones or Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has been to Super Bowls. Like it's a whole different conversation. Yes, Brock Purdy's your starter. Mac Jones may revive, you know, and keep the team alive, but he's eventually going to go on somewhere else. They're going to pay him somewhere else. This is a different situation with Kyler and Jacoby. Right now, you're in a situation where it's like, who gives us the best chance to save our job today or this year and win us some games, because we need to establish that culture within our locker room and not just go with the guy because we said or we paid him. Like, we got to go with the guy that's going to give us dubs at the end of the day.
How did we get here?
Dude, how did we get here?
Like, let's pop the bubble here quickly. Like, Jacoby Brissett to Zay Jones is the talking point of week 6.
Listen,
to be fair, Zay Jones did not look good for like half of this game, and then towards the end, he really turned it on. Looked really good towards the end. That is true. But I almost texted Jamil. I was like, "Hey, your guy,
he was
not
making
looking
some
good
plays,
right now,
man." But he started making some plays. You know, like,
hey, listen, he got to get loosened up a little bit. He hasn't had a lot of balls thrown his way, so I got to give it to him.
For sure.
Oh, you were gonna say something. I thought you were. You weren't. Well, you would say let's just pop the ball. That's why I thought you were gonna go further down the road. But here's the other thing. I know we've just talked about it for 43 minutes, man, but I can't believe how bad the offense looks with Kyler. No matter how much we talk about it, no matter how much we go into it, like, I keep going back to, I see the big plays he makes before. One against the Raiders years ago. The on 4th down throws an out route to Marvin Harrison Jr. to extend the drive to end up scoring and winning that game last year on the road. Like, I could think of massive play after massive play from Kyler, but like, the more I think about it, man, like someone said it in the chat, like, it's not backyard football. At some point, you have to play within structure. And I don't know if Kyler Murray is ever going to be able to play within structure. And I think that's what we're getting to at this point, because Jacoby Brissett, like, he's got a huge, like a cannon of an arm. Like the dude threw from the 30-yard line and threw it all the way to the other end zone at halftime. Like, but that's the only like massive quality he's got. And he's a big dude. And so I can't believe we're talking about it to this point with how much better he looked and poised than a guy who I think is 10 times more talented. So,
hey, like I said, arm angle is everything in the NFL, man. And Jacoby's able to do some things just given what his stature is. So that's not to say that I don't think, like, I think Kyler's talented. I don't think that this system favors Kyler. Like we saw Jacoby drop back and really push the ball down the field whenever he kind of wanted to. Honestly, like when they needed it, they were able to push the ball down the field, whether it's in the middle of the field, sidelines, intermediate routes. We don't really get to see that with Kyler. And I think a lot of it is just his vision being, blocked by certain guys. Like it's just different, man. And it gives you a different advantage when you have a bigger guy back there, especially with his powerful arm.
Yeah. And I know we got to jump here. Like,
no, go for it.
There's going to come a time where people are going to realize that your quarterback doesn't have to be your best player to win. And it's something like Jalen Hurts is not the Eagles' best player. Okay. They won a Super Bowl. We've got spoiled with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady for 20 years. It's like you need the girl next door and not the trophy wife sometimes, and I think that's kind of where we're at with Brissett. It's like you need some stability. And it's something that we saw today. Hey, easy, take a Ludens, bro. Chill out. Maybe go take a nap. Eat a snack pack. The Cardinals are at a spot where stability may be the elixir to move forward here, and stability is Jacoby Brissett.
Did you just call Jacoby Brissett ugly?
No. I did not.
You went from the store bottle life.
Can be absolutely stunning, just like the trophy wife. They mean different things.
All right. For a second there, they're calling Kyler Murray super hot and Jacoby Brissett, she's the right one for me, and she might be. Let's move on to the lessons of the game, as well as quickly preview that Packers game as we normally do at this point of the week. And let's do it next. All right. First, today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss right now. New customers bet just $5, and you'll get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right. Pick a bet, put $5 down, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Listen, we're talking all things about FanDuel. You know me, I love my lines, but we got to look towards next week, since we're, by the time people listen to this, they might not be able to know what's going on next week. So, or the weeks after, but we got Monday Night Football, right? Let's talk about that one. We actually don't even got to go that far. Buffalo Bills -3.5 on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. I could go -205 with the Bills, put $5 down, and when they beat the Falcons, win $300 in bonus bets. Josh Allen, Michael Penix. There's your reasoning for why I'll take the Bills there. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, guys. I think I know where we're all going to go here, but I'll let Clancy go first. Clancy, what is your lesson from this game?
It's a quarterback. I'll let you guys take that. I mean, the defense has to figure this out too. Like,
in what way?
31. They gave up a 31 burger today. So, they looked good. They obviously got that turnover in the Mac Wilson interception that you would think would have resulted in points, which definitely could have been the end, the change of the game, as Jamil said. But the defense got to figure it out. Garrett Williams isn't coming back anytime soon, you don't think, and the pass rush has to get home late, and they haven't been able to do that. So that's kind of the lesson for me is like, okay, so if the offense is going to put up 27 points, the defense has to be more towards that 20 number like they have been throughout the year. Muted, Jamil.
Sorry about that. I agree. As far as the defense, I was trying to look and see, like, what was the thing in which kind of, I guess, brought this whole game together. both teams had a turnover, so that kind of cancels it out. To me, the defensive part is the Colts were 4 for 4 in the red zone. The Cardinals were 3 for 6 in the red zone. And, 3 for 6 isn't bad. It's 50%. And they obviously, have more penalties than what the Colts had. But from a defensive standpoint, I think we've become accustomed to this defense being able to get those stops in the red zone and not, allow a team to be 100%. So I will say, you got to get back to playing the type of ball when Kyler was in the game, which is ridiculous to say, but it's just like they've been very good. And I don't want to say they were bad this week, but they gave up too many points, and you can't allow a team to be 100% in the red zone. And on the flip side of that, 3 for 6 for the Cardinals in the red zone. If you get in the red zone 6 times, you got to try to punch that thing in at least 5 of the times to get away with touchdowns, especially versus a team that is good like the Colts. So I would say defense gets stops in the red zone, offense turn it into points in the red zone.
Yeah, I thought both of you guys were going to kind of go closer into the quarterback there, but I think we've talked about that ad nauseum. I thought this was it right here where our guy Diggum 117. The Cardinals look like they didn't give it up yet. That's a lesson for me. I think that's part of it. For me, I thought there was a chance that Jonathan Gannon lost the locker room. I felt totally fine about what happened last week with Amari DiMercato because I related it to my high school days, not playing very well. And Jamil kind of talked some sense to me that, nope, these are grown men. You don't grab people. You don't slap people. You get up in their face. You yell at them, but keep your hands to yourself. I thought there was a chance that, and from the Diana Rossini article, some people said it looks like, he cut his cojones off in front of everyone. And some people said that wasn't that big of a deal. So I thought there was a chance that the locker room would not fight for Jonathan Gannon. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I won't go super hard after the defense because it's a really good Colts offense. It's a really good offense on the road where, you still have guys missing from this team. Garrett Williams isn't playing. They have some injuries. Darius Robinson didn't play, who hasn't been great this year. Bilal Nichols still didn't play. Like, I thought they held their own. And so what I thought was the most interesting was I thought the offense played really, really hard. And I thought some of that was for Jonathan Gannon, but I also thought some of it was because they felt like they could actually win with this quarterback. So that's what I'll go there.
The season's on the line. I mean, these guys are professionals who want to win games. They don't want to be sent out to pasture, in week 10 or whatever it is.
Sometimes they don't do that though.
Sometimes a lot of times
they just lay out and die.
Yeah. Not with this front office, not with this coaching staff. That's Cardinals of the past. Like they haven't. Yeah. They haven't done it. They haven't done it at all. They didn't do it year one when Kyler was out for a large portion of the season. I mean, that's not something that this organization, that this front office and coaching staff has yielded. This, regardless of what happens at the end of this year, the Arizona Cardinals are exponentially better run culturally and, structurally than they were in the last regime. So even if they don't make the playoffs and things don't work well, like the culture is different. Calais Campbell wouldn't have come back if things weren't different. Okay. If Josh Sweat wouldn't have signed here just because he knows JG and Nick Rallis was his backer coach in Philly. Like these guys came here because they saw something different. And I'm not surprised that they didn't lay down today. It's kind of what they do now. They don't do that.
Yeah. I think the interesting piece is going to be, and I don't think Kyler Murray is going to play next week, but I think if we get to the point of it's Thursday and it says Kyler Murray is starting this week, I think there's a large amount of people that would want to see Jacoby Brissett lead this team into this game, just given what they saw today. Hey. And so, yeah.
Dude, easy. We've been talking about it for 50 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for 50 minutes. That Jacoby Brissett made Kyler look bad. What are we doing here?
Jamil, have you ever had a instance in the NFL where you were injured and the player behind you played really, really well?
Absolutely.
And suddenly the next week your hamstring started to feel a little better.
Yeah.
Kyler feels that way. What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, they kept showing Kyler on the sideline, and it's like, I'm sure that him and Jacoby have a great relationship because quarterbacks typically do. But there's always that piece in the back of your mind of like, damn, my team's playing better than what we've played. Is it me? Or is this, is he now, on the airplane ride home thinking I got to get back as soon as possible? Or is he thinking my time is coming to an end here? We saw the comment a couple of weeks ago about, I think, the stadium or something. And he was like,
the facility. Yeah.
Or the facility. And he was like, yeah, I hope I'm here to see it. You don't say that when you have the utmost belief that you're going to be the guy here. And so for Jacoby to go out and perform and the team you see your team rally around this guy, your offense rally around this guy, I'm sure there's, those thoughts creeping into his head of like, do I need to rush myself back or am I done here?
Does he want to be done here?
Dude, I think he does.
I think he wants a fresh start. I think he wants a fresh start. Like, there's no fault in him wanting a fresh start. I think he has, guys see other quarterbacks go other places and start to have success. I think Kyler probably feels like he has worn out his welcome here. And say they go and they perform well versus the Packers with Jacoby, like that just starts to grow more and more as you're sidelined and you're hurt and things like that. Like it's like, I need a fresh start. So I think he does want a fresh start.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way. It kind of feels that way. It kind of feels like he wants to be done. Really quickly, previewing that Packers game, as we will do again on Wednesday at 6 p.m. We'll get deeper into it. You feel better? You feel worse? You feel the same going up against Packers next week? Hey, that team's pretty injury riddled too. I don't know if Christian Watson's back yet, but it's like Dontavian Wicks and Romeo Doubs. Like, that's at home. Probably going to be a 70% Packer crowd, but do you feel any different about it?
I feel like, the Packers, this is a game. I think this game, I know the Packers have Micah Parsons, they got Jordan Love, all these guys, but the Packers also do not have that foot on your neck mentality. Nope. I don't think that, I think the Colts have more of that than what the Packers do. And the Cardinals battled with the Colts. I'm not saying that the Cardinals win this game, but I do think that they're going to be very competitive in this game, coming off of a game versus the Colts. If Jacoby is the starter, like this isn't going to be just one. Like they're not about to just lay down and let this thing go. So I'm kind of excited to see where this week goes.
Yeah, I feel exponentially better.
All right.
Yeah.
You were the one that also coined the could be a little bit of a mirage. Rally around your guy.
But you can only take what the information that you have and use analysis and infer from that. Like I feel exponentially better going into Sunday. 3-4 and 2-5 are two completely different, solar systems. If the Cardinals can somehow salvage this, get a win, go to 3-4, their season's not over. If they go 2-5 and they go into their bye week, season's by and large over.
I think the offense is going to look a little bit better like in previous weeks, not this past week, but I think this is. I think we have a decade worth of data on what Jacoby Brissett is as a starting quarterback. There's a very low ceiling to it, but there is a consistency that is to be desired as the Arizona Cardinals starting quarterback. So we'll see next week. I think I feel about the same. I thought this was kind of the last stand game. Maybe, if they pull it off, we are talking about 3-4 heading into the bye week and things could be different, but 2-4 with a lot of really good teams left on the schedule. We'll see where the Arizona Cardinals go.
Let me say this. Hold on.
27-23.
I was 2-4 with the Titans. I know I've told you guys this before. We're about to play Kansas City right before our bye week. And Braves was like, if we beat these guys, our season turns around. Nail biter of a game. We come out with the win. Ryan Tannehill starts in his second game after that. It's just so similar in the experience. So like the Cardinals are not done. I just want to say that. Like, they're not done. I do think they got a real decision to make. They got to put on their big boy hat and make a decision with the quarterback position and not be scared of what the backlash is. But this will be really interesting if they can sneak out a win versus the Packers.
Interesting stuff. We will talk more about it on Wednesday at 6 p.m. But with that being said, or actually, TBD on the date on that one. I forgot, might have to shake up some things this week, but we'll put out an announcement for that as well. As Clancy, we talked about this. We talked about this off the air. We will put out an announcement, find another time for it. I believe it will be sometime this week, and we will find it. But with that being said, don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe button. Follow us each on all social media platforms. For everyone in the chat, for Jamil, Clancy, myself, we will talk to you guys this week at a time to be decided.